Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Buri, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 2026, most importantly in terms of the many goals that I would like to achieve, as well as things that have changed for me this year. So before I begin, of course, let's go through today's theme. Not that there is one, but I suppose technically there is. We're going for a bit of glitter today in terms of the lipstick, the facial gems, and nails that I obviously painted myself, and yes, these are my real nails. And then we have this jumper, and this is actually a size small because since I started doing indoor biking a few months back, I've actually lost a significant amount of weight in my back as well as my stomach, so now I've gone a size down, which is great. Yippee! And even though it's a Sunday, I'm not going back to work until the new year, so obviously, even though I'm recording at night, it's okay because I'm not working tomorrow. Yay! Okay, so 2025 has been, let's just say, an up and down year for me, because even though there are certain things that I've achieved, unfortunately in terms of mental health, I have struggled with depression because, for those that don't know, I do have clinical depression. I always have done for at least 10 years. And it has affected my day-to-day life. So every day I find that I have to do things one step at a time. But besides that, I have actually made a list for 2026 because I have some goals that I would like to achieve. So this, wait, I don't even know if this is going to work. This, as you can see here, is my list of goals for the new year. So if we just open it, here you go. 2026 visions and goals. These are a set of 13 realistic goals that I would like to achieve. Now, of course, in terms of my goals that I would like to achieve, these center around finance, business, health and well-being, and I suppose careers in a sense, because one of my main goals is hopefully finding a job where I can work from home a few days a week or work in a school, because at least I get more time off. Now, in terms of business ventures, I think I mentioned this very briefly in my last video in this series, but I have plans to open up an Etsy shop by the end of June next year because I've always wanted to do one, but it's been kind of a back burner thing. And one thing I want to focus on is print on demand. So I first learnt about print on demand via a YouTuber I'm subscribed to called KD 2.0. She is a 36-year-old British woman who actually has a print-on-demand business via Etsy. So she used to work in mainly corporate jobs for 20 years, then she quit and went self-employed. And part of the reason she did that was because she has ADHD, so she couldn't really focus in one job for far too long because it made things difficult, if that makes sense. So rather than staying in the corporate field, she decided to go into the print-on-demand business. So it's basically where you design products and you have a third-party supplier that handles your stock. So if, say for example, I design t-shirts with drawings that I made, I would use a third-party supplier who would handle the shipping and the production of the product. And of course, I would receive a sample of my product in terms of testing / quality control to ensure that whatever I intend to produce is of a satisfactory quality, because obviously in terms of shipping products to customers, I would want to make sure they receive products of good quality. So, whilst they handle shipping and production, I would handle the quality control testing, the customer service side, logistics, etc. And the thing with print on demand is, unlike the traditional business model, that is if you sell art, you do not have stock. So the reason I think this model would potentially work is because I know realistically I don't have space to actually house stock if I'm doing, say, t-shirts or cups or things for my drawings. So I guess that takes away that pressure, although of course there's that possibility where the supplier would get a small or generous cut of profits, but again, that's a risk I have to take. But of course I have a course that I found, again through the same YouTuber I'm subscribed to. This is the Print on Demand Launch Mini Course by Cassie Johnson. So this is the course that I'm going to use in terms of helping me research print on demand and figuring out what I want to sell, because realistically I do have plans for the products I would like to sell. So I mainly want to focus on, say, producing t-shirts with drawings that I've made myself. So drawings like these two, which I drew on my laptop, are the types I would like to put on t-shirts. So basically semi-realistic manga sketches with these kind of details. And besides that, I also want to focus on creating resin products. So I do have a Ko-fi shop with some resin products, but again, I would like to expand. So I want to include, say, phone cases like this, which I made for my phone myself. And I also want to do cases for Galaxy Buds and AirPods like this one. Now the thing with these cases is it does take me a long time to make. So if I'm doing phone cases, it's 45 minutes to an hour depending on the design. Cases like this take a lot longer because I have to individually glue the charms. So this case took about 2 to 3 hours for me to produce. And there was a technique I recently discovered, which I tried for myself, where you use gel varnish, as in the nail varnish that you put on, to give the charms a bit of shine and to stop them from getting dirty. So I actually put a layer of top gel, cured it under the UV light that I have at home, and I then let the case dry, and of course that's the result. And there is another case that I have made, so I will potentially put this design up. So this is the other case that I have recently made. So this one is a pink, blue and white Hello Kitty theme case, which is very cute. And I did the same technique with the gel, but I put a lot of gel on, so that's why it took a long time to dry. And I also did the technique for the current case that I'm using on my phone. So if you look up close, you can clearly see the shine and everything in the charms. So basically, that's what I want to focus on selling, is of course these types of cases. I also want to focus on blogging because I have a professional portfolio which was completely different from a card site that I've got, and my professional portfolio basically showcases all of the art that I produced from university to now, including little reprographics projects that I've done at work. So I want to produce a blog where I talk about travels and such. So I more or less want to review different places or restaurants and things like that, and use YouTube videos to supplement my material. Now, speaking of blogs and photography and such, I do have a slight update. So for those of you that probably don't know, because I don't really mention these things, I have deleted Instagram for good. So I deleted my art Instagram about a month ago. I have deleted my personal Instagram this week because, to be completely honest, I have been at a stage now where I'm absolutely fed up with social media. I'm not necessarily anti-social media per se, it's just I find that the older I get, the more I don't enjoy using social media as much as I used to, because I actually had an addiction to it when I was a teenager. And now I don't really have many platforms. So besides this channel, as well as TikTok, which I purely use for content creation, because oddly enough, I'm not addicted to TikTok because I don't have the actual app. I have the TikTok Studio app, so I use that to basically create and manage content. And I also like to, I guess, look up references for art because I do art. I don't have any other social media, so I don't have Twitter, don't have Instagram anymore, do not have Facebook, Snapchat, etc. And even with instant messaging, it's the same thing. I don't have many platforms, so I only have WhatsApp, which I use to message close family and friends, because most people I know in real life do have WhatsApp. And I have a Telegram where I have mutuals that I've met through online sites in the past that I message through there, because I don't really feel comfortable giving out my phone number. So besides the two platforms that I mentioned, you will not find me on any other social media anymore. You can find me on Spotify because I do a podcast where I talk about my experiences of autism and mental health, as well as topics in relation to that. And of course, I have a pen app account. So if you have a Samsung phone and you have a pen app account, you can follow me for my art on there, or just subscribe to me on this channel and support what I do, of course. But if not, that's fine. So there's no pressure, and I don't want to feel like there is. But anyway, going back to my point, I don't have Instagram anymore, and I'm not going back on it because I don't know. It's not even just the fact that social media in itself is addictive. I find that it's become more of a shell of itself, in the sense that it's no longer about communication, because that's what it used to be about. Finding people with like-minded interests, finding communities based on those interests, if that makes sense. So that's what it used to be about, and every platform had a purpose, but now it's just a blender of negativity. So you have people arguing all the time, you have people creating certain types of videos for attention, and it isn't even just social media. I think this applies to the internet as a whole, because I find that there are certain monopolies that control the internet now. So these would typically include Microsoft, Google, Apple, Facebook / Meta, etc. And you just get to a point where you've already seen everything and you've just kind of had enough. So going into the new year, I do want to build a better relationship with my technology. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop posting, it's just I want to use technology in a way where it's not controlling me, because besides personal life, I do use it a lot in my job, because I do a job which involves administration. Most administrative processes are now on a computer, which is the thing. So I'm being exposed to tech at work and outside of work, and I don't really want to allow it to control me. So in some ways I have improved on that. So for example, if I go anywhere and I'm spending quality time with people, I don't really use my phone. I mean, there's times where I honestly leave it at home, and it's really great because I've always had the knack for starting conversations with people. It's just I don't realise it. And growing up as a kid in the 2000s, although I was exposed to technology, it wasn't really ruling my life, because I had limits for when I would use things like the TV or the computer. And at school, you couldn't even use a phone anyway. I mean, I used to have a flip phone that my mum gave me in the 2000s, and I only ever used it to call her and my dad, or call one of my closest friends. But half the time I would forget the phone was there, and if I was calling one of my closest friends, I would use the landline because we used to have one. So you know, those are the small things I remember, I guess. But yeah, I want to build a better relationship with my technology. So in terms of my phone, I do have quite a number of apps, but again, if you look at here, I don't really have much in terms of social media. I mean, I have email, but I have configured my email in a way where I don't get notifications unless it's for very important things, like anything to do with work, such as colleagues or management contacting me, or if I need to contact them for whatever reason or something, or if I have like health-based appointments, things like that. And then in terms of media, I have uninstalled the YouTube app. So I now have a client called NewPipe, which I would highly recommend. This is basically a YouTube client which allows you to watch YouTube videos. The only difference is you don't see trending things if you don't want to, because there's an option where you can, I guess, get rid of that. You can get rid of the shorts, you can get rid of comments. So you have different options to make YouTube less distracting. And that is why I now have NewPipe on my phone. And speaking of other things, most of the apps I have on here are like photo and video editing apps, because I edit a lot of my videos on my phone. Sometimes I alternate between editing on the phone and the laptop. It all depends, I guess. So yeah. But speaking of what I want to replace tech with, I have installed quite a few apps where I read books. I have Playbooks, I have Audible, because there's 2 audiobooks that I'm trying to finish off by the end of the year. I have Tachi J2K, which I use to read all my manga, because it wouldn't make sense for me to have lots of manga volumes in my bedroom. And Novelist is what I use to do creative writing. So I have many creative writing ideas in the works right now, because by the end of the year, I want to publish a book, either a book on my experiences of autism or a book of short stories that I've written featuring my original characters. And some of these ideas come out when I'm depressed, because usually when I'm depressed I turn to creative writing or I turn to journaling. And speaking of depression as well, I am looking for alternatives to manage depression going into the new year. So I do not want to use medication for it, because I've been on it for 4-5-ish years on and off, and it gets to a point where the side effects get to me and they make me lose my concentration. And you know, if you have depression and you use antidepressants, fair enough, that's your choice. I just choose not to anymore, because I don't want to be reliant on tablets. So now I have decided to seek alternatives, and of course I'm going to do a video at some point where I go through all the alternatives that I have. But my main alternatives include journaling. So I have a journaling app called Journey, which is the #1 journaling app that I've used for a few years. I also have Dailyo, but mine is a modded version with the premium features. So I use it to record all my habits, because of course I like to track what I'm eating, what I'm doing, who I'm with. And I also have the health app, which I use to record my intake of food as well as drinks. And speaking of health, as mentioned, I exercise regularly, so I alternate between doing indoor biking and stretching at home, or if I'm at work, I stretch when I'm in the office because I'm sitting for long periods of time. So I mostly alternate between those things, and I'm sort of changing what I'm eating as well. So I am working on cutting down caffeine, because I don't know, since I work in an office, there's those long days where I drink some coffee or something, but I don't know, caffeine I suppose is common for office workers. I know because I am one. So I want to work on cutting down caffeine and cutting down alcohol. Not because I'm an alcoholic, it's just a general thing where, because I mean I drink on occasion, I don't drink every day. It's just I want to sort of cut down certain things just so I can manage my health better. And then I have this app called iHerb, where you can get medicinal herbs and vitamins. I do go to Holland and Barrett quite often, but iHerb actually has some natural alternatives that are probably not common, because I mean I thought of doing medicinal weed, but I don't think that's a good idea because of the job that I do. But I figure iHerb would be okay, because I mean I've been looking at getting some chamomile as in natural chamomile for tea. So there's this organic one that I have found that I'm considering purchasing maybe tomorrow, because I mostly drink a lot of fruit or herbal tea nowadays, and you know, again with caffeine, I do drink it. I'm just trying to work on cutting it down, but I don't put sugar in my caffeine, like caffeinated drinks or anything like that anymore. I mean, I don't know, it just has a very artificial taste, I guess. So those are some examples of things I've been doing to cut down on, you know, like certain things when it comes to health. But speaking of reading and such, I have been getting back into reading. It's just I want to improve. So right now, the main book or manga that I'm reading is Sayuki Reload Blast. I think I'm on chapter 4 point something, because there's a lot of 4 point something chapters. But this is part of the Sayuki series. My favorite characters are Genjo Sanzo and Cho Hakai. And I actually have this really cute motivational thing that I made in my home screen. So this is a modded version of the motivation app where you can see different quotes, and I actually put a quote from Genjo Sanzo in there. I forgot what it was. It's to do with, oh fuck, it's to do with like meeting the Buddha or killing your father or something like that, but that's very motivational. But yeah, I made this, and I got these images which were made by, well, the original drawings were made by the manga artist Kazuya Minikura. So I basically found these images and I made them into cute little widgets. So you have Sanzo, my cute blondie. He's my favourite. Speaking of, I don't know if you've seen it, but look at this. Look at how cute this is. Look at him. He's so cute. Look, he's got his little gun and he comes with a cigarette. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. But this is Sanzo. This is my Sanzo on Android. And like I said, he comes with his gun and his sutras. He's got his little boobs. He looks so annoyed, but it's very cute. So he stands next to my crystal ball and my chakra tree, which I have on my shelf. So yeah, I have my cutesy widgets here. So we have some, oh shit, there we go. We have Son Goku next to him, and we have Cho Hakai, my second favourite, and Shao Gojo. I don't know if there's a Hakai in Android, but I would like to potentially get one to put on my desk, and I want to get the Sayuki Reload game. There's a PS2 game, and I want to get it for my PS2, which actually still works, even though I've had it for 10-ish years. I think I've had it for 10 years now, but it works. So yeah, I've been reading a lot of manga and ebooks, and I've been listening to audiobooks. Now, one of the audiobooks I'm currently listening to is this one. I know it's a controversial title, but I don't know what it is. I like reading controversial things just to form my own opinions rather than going with what the majority think, because I consider myself, I guess, to be a free-thinking individual. I've never really liked going along with what other people tell me, especially where family is concerned, because I mean, I'm not used to having people tell me what to do and things like that. I mean, I've had it before from extended family telling me what to do in my life, even though most of them are not exactly the best when it comes to making choices either, so that sums it up. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I used to listen to podcasts. I haven't listened to any as much, but one of the main ones I kind of tune into sometimes is Heretics by Andrew Gold, where he interviews people and talks about, again, controversial topics, because I like controversial topics. I don't know, but I have noticed in terms of, you know, news and such, I mostly subscribe to independent news sources. I don't like watching Sky News and things like that anymore, because one, the mainstream media twists things to fit a narrative. Two, in relation to when my cousin died, there was a lot of, well, I'm not going to say there was a lot, but there was a bit of media coverage, and there were certain things that did not sound right. And then of course there was a video of my aunt basically kneeling down on the floor crying, and you could purchase the video, which just made me feel sick inside. So I'm completely tuned out of mainstream media. I don't like it. I'll never go back to it, and I don't really care. So yeah, I follow independent sources, and I pretty much form my own opinions on things now. So there you go. But yeah, I suppose in relation to goals for 2026, like I said, there are many things that I really want to focus on. I want to focus on investing in my savings. I want to focus on my business ventures, my Etsy shop, my blog, my book, because I want to get some books published. I did have poems published years ago, but I can't really show you those, because if I show you those, obviously it's going to have my real name and things like that. I don't feel comfortable showing those. But besides that, I also want to focus on my health. I want to focus on me and, I guess, improving myself, because there's room for improvement. Now, I'm not going to say that new year, new me, because certain parts of me will always be the same. But again, although I'm not much of a resolution type person, there are certain things I'm working on changing, especially in terms of my health and such, and of course my relationship with technology. So I suppose on some occasion, if I go to places, I'll be using this, which is my lifestyle folder when I'm going to places. Yes, I made this case myself. Either that, or I suppose I might take this phone out with me, so I can easily just put my SIM card in, just have all my essential apps, and there you go. And yes, this is another case I made this year. I made this myself, and I've got a video for that. But speaking of as well, I do have some new ideas for my channel that are in a list in the works, because I have a full-time job. I have to really schedule things around that. And speaking of, I have to schedule study time for my art therapy course, because I'm in the middle of finishing that off. I'm on module 3. I've taken breaks from it here and there, but I'm on module 3. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the whole video covered. I'm very tired. I haven't had dinner. I don't know what I'm going to eat. That is, if I'm going to eat anything. But if I eat anything, maybe I'll have a chicken salad. And as always, I don't know what the message is here, because I'm not really a motivational person. I'm just dry. I'm just really dry. I'm just as dry as this. So, bye. I'm not even used to smiling on camera. This is really painful. So, okay, I think I know what the message is now. You just have to find it. So, I'm probably gonna cut to the intermission. Hello again. This is technically editing me. We're back from the intermission, so I've got 3 motivational messages, which are from one of my greatest influences. So let's get through it. So 1, I don't need to believe in God to believe in myself. Yeah, I'm reading from the phone because I get nervous when talking on camera, but let's just finish this. 2, life is basically a futile struggle until you die. And 3, my favorite. If you meet Buddha, you kill him. If you meet the Father, you kill him. Never be captivated by anyone. Just live for yourself. Do you know who said these? I will tell you. Genjo Sanzo from Sayuki. There you go. There's your motivation. Because, like I said, I'm not good at motivational quotes, and I'm often a very, let's just say, dry person. At least I think I am when it comes to human things like that. But Genjo Sanzo said those things. So yeah, that's today's message. I don't know what else to say, but this is my cue. As Serena van der Woodsen says from Gossip Girl, I have to go.